So I'm down here going to winterize my big sprayer, PTO sprayer. If I had used it recently, I would still have some water in these valves, and it's been 6 months or more since I've used it, and during those months we've had some hot weather, so I'm very confident that there's no water in here. I'm sure it's just all evaporated by now. I left the valves open all this time. I don't think there's any way there's any water in there. If there was, then I would come in here and put some antifreeze of some sort. I like the I think it's called RV antifreeze. It's a pink, it's almost like a windshield washer. Maybe it is windshield washer antifreeze. I did it last year or year before, but today, this year, like I say, I'm going to check and make sure that there's no water in the valve there, the shut-off valve. I'll undo that and make sure. But what I want to do mainly right now is I'm going to unscrew this outlet fitting, and I'm going to put some motor oil in it. I should have done that. You really need to do that every time you use it, after you use it every time, because the inside working of this is cast iron, I'm pretty sure, and it will rust. In fact, we might even be able to see a little rust when I take that off. So, and then you'll put oil in it, and I'll twist it around to make sure it coats the entirety of that impeller there that allows it to pump, the pump impeller inside it. So let's do that. I'll take this off, pour some oil in it, and then swish it around and make sure it's coating the entire inside of this cast iron pump. Want to get it coated with oil. This loosens here. You see the water's a little rusty, but it's probably because I use well water. It does have a little water in it. I'm surprised. Sure does. Well, there's a little water in that hose. Not much, but a little bit. I don't think there was enough to freeze. But it is there's some water in it. Well, basically get all the water out of these things, because if you bust that pump, that's probably about $300. We don't want to do that. Check back here then. Make sure that doesn't have any water in it either. Usually I can do this, and it does. Man, I'm glad I checked it. It's a lot of water. Okay. Well, I'm gonna tilt this forward, try to drain all that water out. Not gonna be as simple as I thought it was gonna be. So I don't know whether you can, let me get the camera off and start this in a different position. So what I just did was tilt this. This is kind of a little bit of an upward angle, so I tilted it down to try to drain that water out of that. It could conceivably crack that plastic there, or that. That wouldn't be expensive to replace. That is expensive to replace. So I will take this filter loose because that filter is going to have some water in it. So let me just set up the tripod again and just show you what I'm doing here. I'm just going to drain the water. Lift the hose up high to drain the water down into that filter. Take the filter off, and that should, all this should be free and clear. That right there is going to have some water in it, and I can't get that out without breaking this loose. So I'm going to come down here and put some antifreeze in that and let it come down in there. I think I've got a gallon in the shop, so let me do that and we will reposition this and start over again, kind of. So basically we're just going to pour some motor oil in here, and you could use used motor oil that you've stored or salvaged from oil changes. Motor oil won't freeze, or at least it won't freeze way down colder than what we're going to get. We're going to get, I can feel it, it's just getting so much freer right now just having that oil in it. I should have done that when I used it last. Get that up a little higher. Get that all through that pump. Just mainly so it won't sit here, so it won't freeze, but also so it won't sit here all winter long and rust. Coat it with oil, the inside of that pump, the inside of this cast iron pump. That is the main thing. Keep that pump from freezing. I think that's going to do it. We've got it coated real good. I'm going to come back tomorrow and put some antifreeze in the tank and allow it to drain down in that that fitting on the bottom I just showed you. And if I don't think, if I'm concerned about water in that line down there, that one line I showed you, then I will come back and hook my tractor up to it. I've got something on the tractor right now. The only reason I didn't bring it down here, I'll hook the tractor up to it and just turn it on, turn the PTA on, and cycle that antifreeze through there. But for right now, I think all I'm going to do, I think I'm satisfied with just doing this. Closing that up, trapping that oil inside here. Some of it I'm sure has drained down into this hose, but that's okay. Mainly make sure that this cast iron pump has lubrication, has oil in it, coating all the internal parts and keeping them from rusting and keeping them from freezing. So I think I'm good, but I will come back down tomorrow with some antifreeze and put it in that, put it in the tank and let it settle down in that fitting there on the bottom, and try to Just make sure, I mean, right now this is good. That's the main thing, that's the expensive thing. Underneath is that fitting, which is, you know, probably $5. If it busts, I hate it, but if it busts, it's not going to be horrible. I did drain the inside of the, pull that filter out and drain that, tighten that back up. So I think we're good here. I don't think there's any way there's any water trapped in this up here, in the valves up there that I showed you at the beginning. So we'll see, but main thing is this is the expensive thing, and I wanted to make sure we get that done for freezing and for rust. So I think we're good. Anyway, done here. Look down there for my website and go check it out, please. I would appreciate that. Right in the corner, right there, right about now. All right, we are gone.